Butterfly Day in Felixstowe. It's an event that happens every single year, and I have bumped into Therese Coffee, our local MP, and I say bumped into because I wasn't expecting to see her. And Therese grabbed me and said she's got some news. So without further ado, Therese, what's going on?
Well, the news is, although we're here by the river, by the sea, I'm actually going tomorrow to meet Theresa Villiers, who's the rail minister.
The rail minister,
and
yeah.
we're going with Ben Gummer, and the reason we're going is to go and speak to her about the potential threat to Felixstowe passenger services.
There's been a lot of discussion about this recently. It's come to the forefront of maybe a great concern to the town. What kind of things are you going to be discussing? Have you got an agenda for this?
Well, what we're looking for is to ensure that in the next franchise, so 2014 onwards, that the retention of passenger services is still in that franchise. And what that means is that when the government advertises to say Greater Anglia or whoever come and bid for it, that our service will still be there.
Because the discussion of, obviously, there's been lots of different ways of angling this. Some people have said the port have called for the transport section to be completely disbanded and moved to freight. Some people have said that they want to sort of decrease the times the trains run and run maybe some at peak times, some during... There's been a lot of discussion about what they're actually proposing. But aren't they committed to dualling the line? I mean, there's something about the dualling of the line that came about last year. What's going on with that?
So when the port was given planning permission for the extension to the terminals, to make it the big terminal that we have, they committed, it says legal agreement, that they would dual the line to allow both passenger freight and rail freight to still continue to operate. Now when Mike Penning, the minister, came a few months ago, they kind of announced that they would be seeking to effectively remove most of the passenger services throughout the day, apart from peak times. I mean, I gave my indication to them then, saying, from a business perspective, I fully understand it, but as MP for Felixstowe, I will certainly fight that. And Ben Gummer's constituency includes the Derby Road Station, and that's why he's coming along tomorrow. Very important junction for him. Now, let's be clear about it. If we can achieve keeping the passenger services and allowing the number of freight services to increase without dualling, but partial dualling and some passing loops, I think everyone can live with that.
As long as there's a balance, because obviously like I said, there's been a lot of public discussion about it, and I raised the question of what would we do if we lost the train service into town, because we have only 2 access points. We are on a peninsula. Felixstowe is unlike other coastal towns, because we are on that peninsula. If we lose the entrance, the entrance ways to Felixstowe, how is that going to affect the economy in the long run? Because arguably the port, yes, it finances the town, it has all the jobs, the employment, £2 billion, all the rest of that, but it would have such an effect. I mean, do you think that that's really outweighs the need for the freight service? It's kind of an odd one.
No, I do not, and what I do think is important is that we keep both. There's no question. And what I'm seeking tomorrow from the Minister is some assurance that they will continue to want passenger services. My understanding is the Department for Transport has already said that the port should definitively dual the line, as they committed to do. There's no question that there are a number of other priorities for East Anglia, but what's important is for the biggest town in my constituency not to be cut off by rail, but to make sure it's fully linked into the network.
Because there's a lot of businesses in the area at the moment that are promoting Fiat, so we've got the Great Days by the Sea campaign. There's a real network of things going on to try and attract the tourism back to Felixstowe, because it is a unique little part of our coastline.
I think replacement by the bus just would not suffice. Going in and out of Trimley Station is quite difficult. So it's absolutely vital.
And Trimley Station again is another store point, because that in itself is under threat of being removed completely, isn't it? The buildings and everything there, and there was talk of
the building is in a bit of a precarious state, but I understand the group involved with that have made progress again after the change of ownership. But as I say, I hope to have good news that the government will be behind the people of Felixstowe. Of course, I recognise how important the port is.
Absolutely,
That shouldn't be at expense.
I don't think there's anybody who actually questions the port's involvement in the town, but I think it boils down to the fact of, come on guys, how much more do you want to put us through? I know this is daft. I don't think there's a way of phrasing it, but it's the feel of, you're here, but listen to us. You know, we can't lose that. There has been research done on the railways recently. Councillor Graham Newman, he popped out online. He spent a whole day up and down on the trains, and he could not believe how busy it was at all times of the day.
Well, one thing just to make clear, I've only had about 8 people write to me, and although I put it in my column in the Star, that prompted about 2 or 3 more letters.
Yeah.
So please, people, get in touch.
Absolutely,
I know that we are going to start a campaign, because I think actually quite a lot of people aren't even aware about it.
No, I mean, we ourselves, we're going to be going down to the train stations and having a chat to the people. I used to use the train to commute to work, and I used to say, why is there only one train available at peak time? Because it should be 2 carriages, because everyone stands and we're like sardines. Right. You also find at 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, mums coming down from Ipswich to take the children to the seaside. It's packed on the train at that time of the day. Right. It teeters off a little bit, but I would say it's a consistent flow of users. So that
if you don't have a consistent service, people will just stop using it.
People stop, and the interconnection lines as well. You mean actually like tying them in with links to other parts of the country? Right. I mean, I think if a review overall, rather than allowing the port just to.
Well, how can I put it? Our local population and the port have had a very good relationship. Yep. Of course, the port wants to continue expanding, but I know that conversation will continue.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Therese. Good luck, and come back and tell us what happens.
I will.
We await everything. Cheers, Therese. Thank you.